I want to thank everybody for participating this evening in the July 2022 LARC general meeting. So really quick, couple things. The splatter came out today, so please check that out. There's a lot of good information in there, some good articles. Other thing I want to bring up is my challenge is still going for the club, and even if you have non-club members that are hams that would like to participate, if you run a net, whether there's our Thursday night net or a Tuesday night net, 5 times for the year, got plenty of time to do it. The club's not, but I am paying for your membership for a year. So I've got a couple people that are actually starting to take me up on it. So if you want to do that, please do so and take advantage of my generosity for the year and kind of run a net. Again, the Tuesday night nets is a hamlet net, so it's for new hams. It is a topic net. Good thing about that one is you normally don't even have to do the topic. AF0W Brian usually does the topics for us. So it's really easy net to kind of get started with, and it's a lot of fun. And of course, Thursday night nets are Rag Chew net that Jerry's been running, so he can always look for some help to somebody take that as well. The other thing I'd like to mention is, for those of you who are interested, is there's Aries groups around, whether you're up north here, you're in Boulder, Adams, wherever, there's Aries groups that are looking for members. So if you're looking to get back to the community, learn some new things, get involved with emergency services, please find your local Aries group and talk to them. I'm part of R1D1 up here in North Larimer Weld. If you want some information on that, let me know. Jerry is our B-Cares representative for Boulder and Broomfield County. So, and we can get you, if you're in another county or somewhere, or you know somebody that's interested, we can get you a contact. Let us know. We will definitely find it out for you. Aries groups are, at least in the state of Colorado, I know Joe's been working hard on getting R1D1 back up to speed, and I believe D-Cares is also working super hard, George and those guys, to get back up to speed as well. So COVID's, for the most part, I'd say 90 to 95% over. It's like the flu now for most folks. So hopefully we'll start seeing more Aries exercises and Aries things come up. And please, if you're interested, please throw your hat in the ring and find out what it takes to join us and learn some new things. Board members, do I have any board members with any announcements this evening?
I have a query for everyone that's here. The Christmas party is usually in December. It's been at the Niwot Grange. And if we're going to do that live, I suppose I need to know what the consensus of this group is here. Or should we do a live party? And if so, I got to make arrangements to Grange pretty quickly, I think. I don't know what their schedule is, and we want to do it on a Wednesday night instead of our meeting, our Zoom meeting. What's everybody think?
Live, please.
Yeah,
Live.
I think live is going to be good, and we usually replace our meetings on Christmas time with the club dinner. So, and for those of you who don't know and didn't read or may not have seen the emails or the splatter yet, Dick KE0PTI, Doug Altman KE0PTI has stepped down as our event planning coordinator for the club due to health reasons. So Dick graciously stepped up and volunteered right away and said, "Hey, I'll fill that position for you." So he was voted in by the board last week, or 2 weeks ago actually, and unanimously with multiple hands up. So he's taken over the role. So he's our new event planning coordinator. And if you have anything events wise, you want to help him out, he's always looking for some labor to get things accomplished. Please check with Dick. He's also one of the things that Dick and I have sat and talked about. Doug did a lot. Everybody loves Doug in the club, but he did a lot on his own. One of the things I'm trying to get, and Dick's been doing a very good job at it, is delegate. And we can't have one person doing everything because things do slip through the cracks. So I would ask if you'd like to do something and help Dick out, whether it's help run a small committee, help run volunteers for a ham fest, parade, be a net controller for a particular parade or event that we do, step up and let Dick know. He's looking for the help. He can't do it all himself. I'm not expecting him to do it all himself. But so, there's opportunities out there to give back to the club and the community as well, and get with Dick, and he's got all that information. And if he doesn't know the answer, he'll come hunt me down or call me at work, and I'll answer for him. So I want to say thank you, Dick, for stepping up to the position. And so if you got if you want to help with an event or anything, that's the man to go to now. So thank you for taking that over, and we appreciate it.
Sure. I've been having a lot of fun with it already, and getting ready for this August 6th. And
Yeah,
we're pretty much ready now, so it's just a matter of waiting until the day arrives. Maybe some last minute calls begging, but hopefully not.
well, we'll see. Hopefully it'll be nice out, or not super hot, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Did you
that
have
would be
any-
nice.
Did you have anything else, Dick?
No, not right
Okay.
now. I don't.
Any other board members that have anything they want to bring up? Nothing, Brian? Usually Brian's got something he brings up the meeting. Oh, a reminder, this Saturday from 9 to noon. I don't have the address in front of me. I'll have to look it up, but it's in the splatter and it's on the website. Is we're having a kind of a wiring class. So come learn out. If you don't know how to crimp Anderson J poles or SO239 connections or things like that, or what kind of wire to use, this is a great class to learn something new. And Will KE0PTI CO is going to be hosting the class and running it. So if you got spare parts you want to bring out as well, please do so. The club's got a couple of things they're donating for people to work on if they need to. So hopefully it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be a great learning opportunity if you've never done stuff like that. Right. Doug joined us. Good evening, Doug. Anybody got anything before we get started here soon?
Hey Chuck, that address is 950 South Sherman Street in
Thank you.
Longmont.
And you go to the back, that's actually his where he works, and they're donating the space to use this Saturday as well. I know there'll be at least 2 Anderson J pole crimpers there. There'll be some connectors. I just found a bunch of stuff in the storage shed that we're cleaning out, and other people are bringing stuff as well. So so Jerry, you don't have to worry about going to the storage shed. I pulled everything out already for the class on Saturday, because Will said you were going to go collect stuff. So
Chuck,
yes, sir.
I have an invitation for everyone here and
Okay.
everybody on your club. September 17th, in carts, picnic. You're all invited. Don't have to bring nothing but yourself. It's going to be the same place it was last year, and I have no idea what the address of that place is. And Darren won't tell me. No, I mean, he said, that's over there. We'll have it up on our website, and I'll pass it on to you when I find out what it is.
Okay, thank you. And I'll pass that along to the club as well. I
Please
know
do.
it's on the north side of that park. That's the only thing I remember, because we were on the south side last year. It's like, where's everybody at? The
Yeah,
other side of the park.
it was kind of a mix up, and we decided, well, if they're going to screw it up this time, the city, we just go ahead and take it first off.
go. And it was a lot of fun last year. It was good interaction, good networking. I know a lot of you showed up last year, so that's great. And I want to thank Joe, because me and Joe have been working very closely together last probably what, year and a half now, Joe, almost 2 years
Yeah.
now, since I became the club president, and we're breaking those walls down between the clubs. There's a lot of clubs that are siloed, do their own thing. Joe and I don't like that idea. We think that there's lots of talent between them we can use, help each other out, do things together. It's just a great partnership. And I want to thank you, Joe. He's a member of our club. I'm a member of his club. So it's a win-win for everybody. And we've done stuff for him. He's done stuff for us. So thanks for that invite, Joe. I don't think we're going to do
Joe, tell us the date again. What date?
September 17th. It's going to replace our club meeting.
Joe, I'm gonna try to make it this year. I couldn't make it last year, but this year I'm gonna try to make it.
Now, I don't know if this is interest to anybody here, but we're also on September 10th, which is a week prior to that, over in that same place, not the same, it's going to be in that park, but we're not going to get a pavilion. We're going to have an HF Hamlet class.
That
Where
sounds interesting.
Yeah. And you can come and correct us. And then we're going to, you know, HF, when you get into HF off of UHF, VFF, it's totally different. And you guys know that too, but we're going to go through protocols and the rest of that stuff. And then we're going to have a couple, 3 stations set up, you know, kind of temporary stuff, just to kind of get people on if they want to. So come on. It's going to be at that same park, but I don't know where it's going to be.
Joe, do you want me to know the name of the park by any chance?
What is that?
I was actually up in Fort Collins yesterday. I used to live up there. It's been a while. Is it near CSU by any chance?
No,
No.
it's on the other side of town. But Lawn Hanger? No, is it Lawn Hanger? No.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, and I'd rather not give it wrong information. Just give it to me. I'll pass it to everybody, Joe. We'll have
Okay.
people show up.
I guess I can look on the website and see what we did last year.
Okay.
Hopefully
Okay.
it'll
Okay.
be there.
Okay.
But I'm sorry I don't have that information. I'm not the brightest bulb in the tree.
You don't have to be. You get a lot of things accomplished, man. Let me tell you.
I even
Great
screwed
club
up
up
the
there.
test session this week. So
Hey,
You still
hey,
get a
hey,
lot accomplished up there. We're doing good.
Hey,
We
by
have
the
our
way,
faults,
Joe.
too.
By the way, Joe, I got to give kudos to your club members that hang out in your NCARC Facebook group. I'm a member of that group, and they've been passing people on to us here at LARC, and we've been passing people on to them, and it's mutual cooperation, and it just helps everybody out. And so just give everybody kudos over there at NCARC for that. I like to see that. It really makes things a lot more fun, a lot more interesting for everybody.
yeah, well, I appreciate that. Of course, I'm going to pull a Doug on you. Doug Sharp says, you know, a club can't survive alone, and the more we
Sure.
deal with you guys and NCART and Colorado Connection, they're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
No,
Anyway,
you're good, Joe. You're good. Anybody got anything else they'd like to bring up before we get started?
I just wanted to say hi to Joe. I hadn't had a chance to meet you yet, but I did join your club here about a month or 2 ago.
good. We're going broke. James is putting a new repeater in a 275, so we need the money. Thank you very much.
That's the beer money when they put the repeater up, by the way. All right. Brian, Mark, Pat, Jerry, Steve, Mike, you guys got anything you'd like to bring up really quick before we get started?
No, I already brought up mine about the borough race. That's
Yep,
all I have
appreciate it.
tonight, Chuck.
Okay, thank you.
We did have a test session this past weekend, had, let's see, 8 total applicants. Came out of there with 3 new technicians. And then we had 1 upgrade to general and then 4 general to extra upgrades.
Nice.
So might be some new people on the repeaters and stuff once they get done paying that FCC fee.
Oh, good to hear. All right.
I have one thing. This
Go ahead, Dick.
Saturday, I expect to run a test in downtown Longmont after the breakfast. It should only take about an hour, and we're going to test the spots to be sure everybody can get into the repeaters. And I've already kind of looked it all over. I drove around down there, and I had people passing me because I was driving so slow. They passed me in a residential thing, which kind of irritates me, but I was driving pretty slow, just trying to see. And one of the things I don't know, Doug probably can tell us, and that would be where is the lost child pavilion, or or where have you had somebody? I have not been able to discover that. Is he still here, Doug? Where'd
I
you
think
go?
it looks like he might have dropped. I think we lost him. He might jump back on. We can ask him offline as well, Dick.
Yeah, and anybody else that has worked this before, do you know where they put the lost child?
I worked it 1 year, but I don't remember where the Lost Child building was. It might be over by Roosevelt Park somewhere.
Yeah, it is at the park. I'm pretty sure of that, but I don't know whether it's one of the pavilions. It's not at the pool or the recreation center, and it's not at the main building on the southwest side there, because they're closed.
They
were
may
all
just put a tent up.
county.
Yeah, they
So,
just may put a tent or something up as well. So we can try to find out for you.
okay, yeah, that would be helpful. And they were wanting somebody to walk around the park and kind of shoo people away that weren't involved in the parade. And I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to put anybody else responsible to do that either. That Kiwanis wants to do it, maybe they should get their people.
Well, you can tell them that you're meeting with them tomorrow. So
Yeah, I'll be talking to Ken again here. Probably tomorrow, or well, maybe not. Tomorrow's a busy day for me, probably Friday.
okay. All right. Well, I want to again thank everybody for attending this evening. Our presentation this evening is basically about field day that we had last month. The guys got together, put all their stuff, their information together, some of the findings, things that worked, things that didn't work, the fun we had. We got fortunate that it didn't rain, other than a couple sprinkles, but other than that, it was a great weekend. At least the time I spent out there that I could spend out there. So I heard Dick's already delegating, so it looks like Bob Smith N0ZFV is doing the presentation this evening. You're already co-hosting, Bob, so you've got the power, sir.
Be better if you didn't lean forward.
I can't hear you.
Be better if you
Yeah.
didn't lean.
The floor is yours, sir. You're muted, Bob.
There we go.
There you go, sir.
Okay. So I think, Dick, you said you were going to run the presentation from your machine?
Well, you're gonna put up the PowerPoint. We'll-
Okay.
As we go through there.
All righty. So Chuck, I have the presentation on PDF and PowerPoint. Is one better than the other? Does it matter?
It's up to you how you want to present it. You're a co-host, so you've got control.
Okay, so how do I share my screen?
Should have a little green button at the bottom that says share screen.
Little green button. Oh, well, anybody can do it that way. What on earth am I looking at? That's what I want to see right
I have
there.
no idea. I can't see your screen. Now I can.
Okay. And how about that?
There you go. Look at that. You think you've done this
Okay.
before or something?
Yeah, been a long time. Anyhow, so tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. This is the tell them what you're going to tell them screen. So let's keep going on here. Now, these first couple of pages I took from the email from you, Chuck. So this is between you and Dick. If you guys want to go over the scoring, I don't have a whole lot of input here. Dick?
Okay, well, we chose class 4A, 4 transmitters at one time. And we were allowed a free transmitter on VHF or UHF. And so I put up a 6-meter station. Conditions weren't all that great on 6, but we worked 7 stations, and 1 in Iowa and 1 in Indiana, which is pretty good for 6, and especially considering the conditions I did here in Tennessee. But the van collapsed before I could get his attention. We probably could have worked him. He had a fairly decent signal, but he was just there 1 second and gone the next. We ran a solar battery on 6 as well as 15 meters, and Bob had a little problem with his starting out, and so he just hooked into my solar, and that's how we did that. We got some extra points for running a solar only, and you had to have a minimum of 5 contacts, and of course 6 meters had 7, so I thought we did good for that. We didn't have a go to station, and that's one of the things down the road we'd like to try to have. We had one young man come with his grandfather, but he got afraid of the dog that was there, and he wouldn't step up to any of the radios. We'd have gotten extra points for him if he'd have made a contact, but apparently he just didn't want to. He was afraid of being around the dog, so they left fairly shortly after they got there, unfortunately. It looks like
Yeah,
we had a pretty good score.
The young man was autistic, so he was hard to calm down. It's a shame because Apollo is probably the friendliest dog you'll ever meet, or one of.
Yeah, that wasn't a
So-
problem, but I understand a lot of kids are afraid of it. I have a statue in the front of the house. And kids come even like for Halloween, they see that big statue, they think it's a real dog and they all want to run. Anyway, we had emergency power for everything else. We did have some media publicity in a Times call that Bob saw to it that happened. And we were visited by the EOC from the Sheriff's Department, guy who would call us out in emergency. So that was a bonus point. Name was Mark Shard, I think it is.
I think it was Mike Chard.
Mike, thank you.
Yeah.
And we had a little educational activity. I'm assuming that was with Try for the satellite. And unfortunately, we didn't get a satellite contact, but we tried, and we'll try again next year. We had quite a few bonus points. 20 some operators over the course of the weekend. You can go on to the next one, looks like. Oh, you already did. Okay, the digital QSOs were all from Don, KE0PTI CO. And I guess he was getting a little exhaust off of the generator in the tent, because he went in the tent, and I kind of got a complaint about don't point the generator exhaust at the tent next year. So we'll make sure that doesn't happen, but it's likely we're not going to have that great big generator back next year, although I'm sure it'll be available if we need it or want to use it. But it's kind of overkill, but I was happy that we had enough power. So I had quite a few QSOs, more so than last year by quite a number. I think the sad part is that we had some contacts on 10 meters, but the operator didn't log them on the log, so we only showed two contacts. And I'm sure we must have had more than that, but I don't know how many, so we lost that. Oh, I thought, like Chuck, I thought it was a successful day, especially the numbers of people that turned out. I think the social part of it was really good. We had 22 people there for hot dogs and sausages, and oh my God, we had tons of food, and 8 people that signed up didn't come. And I had bought enough food for 10 beyond that, and I expected 30 people. And I thought maybe we'd get a few that had come from the VE testing earlier in the day. And actually 2 showed up. And one of them has already become a member. He's a very active young man, and he had just gotten his general that day. So he was in a hurry to get home to get on the air. And he could have stayed with us, but he was too excited. So imagine he got home. I don't know if he made any contacts or not, but anyway, and I've been over and seen his shack, and then I had this wind up here in Dacono, and his antenna that he just got up blew over. So he's just kind of starting over with the antenna there, but his name's Robert, and he'll be active with the club. Anything you want to add to that, Bob or Chuck?
Oh, not at this point. I'll get a few. I'll pick up a frame in a minute or two.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, we all agreed it was a good time. And we have room for improvement. We'll go over that when we get to the bonus point section. And we missed a lot of points on little things that I don't know. I'd say we weren't quite prepared for. And you know, it's like I told you, Dick, when the day that we were stepping off where we were going to put up the big antenna, I was face to face with the Girl Scouts, and it didn't occur to me until afterwards that I said, why don't you show up on Saturday? But so we probably could have had 50 young people out there. There's a thing about corresponding with the ARRL. I did, in fact, communicate with our new SEC, Amanda. I didn't think to tell you, I didn't think to document it. So there's points that we missed. So just a few little things like that next year. I think we could tighten up our processes a little bit and just plan and get do even better next year. But you know, on one hand, this is supposed to be an emergency communications exercise. On the other hand, it's a club event, and ham radio is a hobby. And I didn't see anybody walking away saying, well, this wasn't any fun. So I think it was successful.
No.
So here we come into my grousing. So I guess I'll take it from here, and I'll let you, Phil, if you choose. So Dick mentioned this. I brought a solar generator and I set it up, and as soon as I turned the radio on, there was a weird oscillation. And I had played with this at home. I had set it up and tried it at home. It worked fine. Under the pavilion, it was goofing up. And then on Sunday, one of the radios that was running off the gas generator was doing the same thing. So I'm wondering if maybe that metal structure was picking up something, but we'll test them out and try them again next year. So let's see. But like Dick said, between the big generator and his solar generator, for the most part, I think we hit the marks as far as emergency communications. Let's see, pretty much covered that.
Before you go on, my solar generator, I'm sure, failed because it had been used quite a few hours, and we only had about 2 hours of direct sun there where I could get sun on the charging panel. I had it on all day, but 2 hours wasn't enough to replenish what we were using, and so it just kind of ran out of go there about 10:30 on Sunday morning, and it probably cost us some contacts. But if we'd have done anything else to switch over, we could have maybe switched 15 over to the gas generator and made some more contacts, but we couldn't do that with 6 because then we'd lose our bonus points for the extra station. But I think that's what happened with the big, it's 1800 watts, and I was reading about it's 13.5 hours worth of use time, depending on what you're running on it, and things like a CPAP run of 13.5 hours is all it will handle is CPAP. I was kind of surprised at how much that draws. But anyway, it was a good test. It was brand spanking new. I charged it up with a solar panel prior to coming out with it. And I was reasonably happy with how it performed.
Yeah, you were running the 6 meter and the 15 meter radios off of that all day Saturday and a good bit of the morning on Sunday. So I was all in all kind of pleased with how that worked.
Yeah, me too. If we'd have had more sun, I'm sure we wouldn't have run out of power. just how it's turned out. Everybody expected a hot day and warm and sunny, and it was chilly and 70.
Yeah, that's, I think I have in the presentation later on, one of the things that we missed points on was safety officer. And Dick and I both decided that we were going to be the safety officers. We just didn't document it properly to get those points. So, yeah, it's a lot of times the biggest thing is just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. There was a thing in one of the field day handouts about protecting yourself in hot weather, about using sunscreen and staying hydrated. And I printed one of those. I printed about half a dozen of them out so I could have one in every table. And then, of course, we didn't see much sunshine in the weekend, so I didn't bother, fussing with people to put on sunscreen. It really wasn't an issue. So we've been talking about this, and there's mixed opinions, kind of consensus that big antenna works marvelously. But, a few days before field day, we were out at the fairgrounds, stepping it off, deciding where we were going to put it up. And, I don't know how many hours it took us to put it up, and it takes a small army. If we are really focusing on emergency communications, maybe we should consider a club buy of some kind of like a buddy pole or a chameleon or a comet that can be put up, that can be deployed much faster. And then we can put up the bigger antenna as well. So there were absolutely no complaints about the performance of the big antenna, but it was like, my God, this thing is involved. So anyway, just a comment. So something to chew on between now and next year, and actually now and I guess winter field day or whatever other events we're going to look at. So Dick went down this list. Yeah.
We had so many volunteers. That's 7 guys putting that up, and they actually had it up and ready to use in about an hour, which is kind of remarkable because not many of them had ever put that up before, and it's a big job. And they got it right up, and I've had even second thoughts, but depends on the duration of the emergency. It's going to be a long duration. It's probably very worthwhile to put up a quality antenna like ours happens to be. It worked very well. We made more contacts on 40 than anything else. And I agree that if it's a real emergency, you may want to be, or you may need to be on 40 almost from the get-go, depending. But during the day, that's usually a pretty good band, and so you gotta get it up in a hurry if it's a true emergency, I think, and then you could put up the bigger one if you find you're going to be longer. And the only very long emergency thing that I can remember is when they had the big Thompson Canyon flood, and amateur radio operators operated it, if my memory serves me right, 4 months, 24/7, both from Estes Park and Loveland. And they had a mobile unit over there. I think Denver Radio Club had one, and I know guys there were involved. I wanted to be, but my work schedule wouldn't permit me to help them out. But that was a long time, because that flood wiped out all the wires for the sheriff's department communication. So hams with the deputies at the radios talking back and forth, but using ham radio with a control operator to have communications for the sheriff's department.
So yeah, something to think about. So I went to the score sheet that the ARRL publishes for how we get our points for field day, and I went down the list, and here are the things we did well. Like we've been talking about, 100% emergency power, we nailed that one. We did get a notice, an event notice put in the Longmont Times call in the Boulder camera. We of course set up in a public place, and this is the one that I was talking about that I did this. I don't think this probably ought to be on the other list of things we can do better, because we did it, but we didn't give ourselves credit for it correctly. Natural power QSOs, we nailed that one. Dick mentioned Mike Chard, and he published Dick published the event on the ARRL Field Day app. So we got points for all of that, except I think not the section of the ARRL official.
No,
Opportunities for improvement, were you going to say?
say that was, I think, that put out the thing on, not me.
So we had a public information table for next year. I think we ought to put up a little tent stand, little, I forget what they call, but the little signage holders. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about the Get on the Air station a little bit, and we've already talked about the young people. We could sort of kill three birds with one stone here. We have a public information station with the go to station right there, and so that when people show up, they know, oh, Johnny, that's where you can go and talk on the radio. So W1AW Field Day messages. I know we have some real Morse masters in the club. We just need to, I don't know, rattle their cage a little bit earlier next year and get some commitments for people to come out and say, sure, I'll work CW for the field day. Because my experience, people who do code don't see it as a chore. So I think that's another one where all we would have had to do was ask, and we probably could have, asked a little louder and maybe more specifically, and we probably could have gotten people out there. Same way with the formal message handling. That's never been much of my thing, but I'm aware of it, sort of aware of the protocols, and I'm sure we have some NTS people in the club, or I'd be surprised if we don't. So we should look into the rules on that one a little bit more closer and see if we can't get some points for message handling next year. Chuck has some really cool stuff on his phone for finding satellites. He showed me a few of the apps, and I need to get a new phone one of these days with more memory, because I want all of those. But let's try to plan ahead next year and have a station set up and prepared to do satellite QSOs. And maybe we kill 4 birds with one stone. If we could, well, I just had a fleeting thought of putting kids on the air to the ISS, but I don't think that's a spur of the moment kind of thing. I sent out invitations to the mayor of Longmont, the city council, the Boulder Sheriff's Office. I got one response from a city council member who said, I'm going to be out of town that weekend. So if anybody in the club, or if we have a government liaison, if you know any of these people, let's try to get on their calendar a little earlier next year. The sheriff's assistant, she and I had a really nice conversation. She wanted to bring her grandson out on Sunday, but they didn't make it. But the sheriff had been booked for that weekend several months ahead of time. So I think the key there is put out a call to the club. Do you know any of your council members? Do you know the mayor? Do you know the sheriff? We need an elected official. So even if the assistant would have showed up, we would not have gotten credit for that one. It has to be an elected official. But now through those conversations is how we crossed paths with Mike Chard, the EOC manager. So we did get, we don't get credit for elected official, but what's the term they use? He's the one who calls us, or he's the one who calls BCARES or Aries when he needs us. So we got points for that.
He's the EOC, and he is the guy who calls us when they need us.
So youth participation, we talked about that. Plan on having your grandkids show up. I think, did you say we have to do five QSOs with people under the age of 18? Is that the guideline there?
That's the maximum. Each
max
kid that completes a QSO gets 20 points, and the maximum is 100 points. So 5 kids. But if they can make other contacts that count, they just don't count for more bonus beyond the 5.
But I'm looking at all the gray hair here. I know we've got grandkids that just need to come out and get on that radio. So just plan on it for next year. Grab the neighbor kids. I don't know if you're familiar with the off on a tangent here, comedian Jamie Lissow. He has a couple of kids. He says, I know you're not supposed to pick favorites, but I can't help it. It's the neighbor kid. He goes home every night. Anyhow, we'll leave it there. the GOTA bonus, the safety officer bonus, like I said, we nailed that one. We just didn't give ourselves credit for it. Social media, we have a LARC page. All I would have had to do was put up a notice and say, hey, come to field day on Saturday. We could have given ourselves credit for that. So my bad, but I know better for next year now. So that, I mean, some of these things that we miss points on are just too darn easy. And then one thing that was a little bit frustrating, and Dick mentioned this, I mean, here again, we're all techies. I know I could have solved a little bit about this too, because I think I have 3 old laptops here that I could have brought along, but we had 2 stations using the software. All the other stations were using paper. And then even at that, some of the QSOs didn't get logged. So let's give ourselves a break and just, if you're bringing a radio, see if you can't bring a laptop along. And, you know, Chuck has the software. You can get the software online. Chuck has the key that makes it all work so that it shows WENO as the operating station. And then you give the files to him afterwards, and he puts it all together and sends it in and gets the credit. So it's the stuff that we missed were all little things that would be easy to remedy next year if the club just gets together and, you know, we delegate a little bit and ask for help, and it shouldn't be that big of a thing. So now the highlight of the show, you saw Ramon walking around all weekend with that little camera, and here is the fruits of his labor. And
Also, KVs are on, by the way. I don't know who NVs are on is, but they're very popular because everybody confuses me with that person.
Before
So,
you start
did
the
I-
video, one of the things that I didn't do very well is I didn't describe how to use the checkoff sheet for the sections. Now, I don't know, somebody ought to tell me, does the software keep track of the sections?
It does.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, it has like all the sections in blue, and when you contact one, it turns green.
Oh,
So I mean, it doesn't do like the grid square DM79 or something like that, but you can see Eastern Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina. It breaks it down like that. And Ramon, I apologize for goofing that up. KV0N. So I'll change that one for the one that goes into the archive. So
Yeah, well, yeah, because I didn't think Joey had went. I thought he was on vacation this year.
Yeah.
so I don't know. Let's see if this works and comes up on the right screen.
Well, and can I say something really quick, Bob, before we go to the video? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Personally, I want to say thank you. I mean, this was a lot of work to put together. Bob and Dick took the bull by the horns and ran with it and did, 80% of it. We got Ramon, who took pictures for us, who's now our official, unofficial photographer / videographer for the club. I would say a special thank you to Chuck, because he stepped up and made a big ass pot of chili that was freaking delicious. So we're going to have him be our official cook going forward, I think, for the club. So everybody participated, everybody had a good time, and this is what this club's about. Okay, it's not one person doing it all, and I just want to say thank you. And if I missed you and you did something, please let me know. I'm hoping I got everybody covered that participated and helped out. Unfortunately, I was not able to do a whole lot this year due to my back issues, but I did show up. I tried to direct people a little bit, and we had a good time. I mean, it was definitely a learning curve for some things, and I think next year we're going to do, I think we'll set a goal and put that bar a little bit higher. Let's see if we can break the 3,000 point mark or whatever the case may be. And I think we can do it because we learned a lot, and we're going to be planning ahead of time. So again, for field day, summer and winter, if you want to help participate and help plan, get a hold of Dick, and let's get it started, because the farther out we plan, the better off we'll be. And we can do some trial run errors and tests and things like that. So we've got the places to do it, and I think it'd be great. And Dick, I had a perfect place maybe for next year to set it up, and I'll talk to you offline about it later. So thank you guys for the presentation as well, and continue.
Okay, I know, Ramon, you even told me that your call rhymes with your name, but my finger and my brain were not connected. So Anyhow, so do you see the video up now?
No,
The start, do you still see the presentation?
yes.
Okay, let's see. I've got to figure out, because I moved it over to that screen, but I guess that's not the,
Well, you got full for the presentation, so you probably have to turn the presentation down.
Stop sharing and bring up, share the other one.
and where did it go? Do you see the LARC page? Oh, no, I still need to do share.
Yeah.
All right, we are at the Boulder County Fairgrounds, and it looks like Longmont Amateur Radio Club has their own pavilion and tent for the 2022 ARRL Field Day. So let's check it out.
Here's what we're gonna do. We got radios on 6, 10, 15, 20, 40. We need operators, we need loggers. Minutes from now. So the next class wants to send in, we can get a little bit better frequencies. Or just somebody who sit with him.
Okay, looks like we have a looks like a GR5V or derivative thereof. There's another antenna. Window line going up into the tree. Up on that log.
Operation safety, okay? And Bob and I are splitting the safety duties for this.
Looks like it has a bunch of little areas where you can plug in the pigtail to make it to change bands, basically. Pretty cool. All right, so this is a big one. We've got this pole up here, this mast, and then we have some guy wires, and we've got, looks like a fan dipole. There's a view of the center of the fan dipole, or probably quad pole, if you will.
CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day. 15 meters, CQ Field Day, 15 meters, W0ENO.
Alright, we're on 40 meters.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
On one side. In one ear.
Whiskey Zero, off under Austin.
Oh, that's
We have a Yaesu FTDX 1200 set up here. Nice. So this is something you have to have on field day, is a 4-channel stereo headphone amplifier.
225. Looks like a 17 meter.
40 meters is awesome. We've got a member of the sheriff's office representing us. All right, looks like we've got a Patriots battery power, and then we have a 100-watt solar panel here going on. And it looks like we have a 6-meter Moxon antenna, probably. I don't know. It could be a different type of antenna, but every rectangular antenna to me is a Moxon. This is gonna have an SWR 1-to-1 when you guys are done. Alright, we got tons of activity going on. We have our little, so around 10 meters here.
tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've got 6 meters. How's it going? All right, I'm trying to run FT8 QRP with the 80-meter coil attached, and I've got my trips running FT8, so lots of people on 6 meters. Great. All right, make way. The food is here. Sweet. All right. These gentlemen have W1AW logs. Incredible, guys. Incredible. Thank you. We have the pro here doing CW. That is great. All right, look at this go box. It's got all kinds of cool things in here.
Watched this several times. I was like, I'm gonna add a few more things. He wasn't a hand.
Food is ready to be.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways.
Look at all this food. So much delicious food.
So everybody in this rate's gonna have to eat 4 hot dogs.
All right.
Yeah, they didn't even have any food. All they had was chips. But they did have a fancy step aisle.
We need uncomfortable scenes of people ignoring me while they're eating for the video. Hey, Doug, you're out of food. Do you want? So keep the faith, Cat. All right. So we're working 40 meters here. Oh yeah.
One contact, 128.4.
All right, night one. And this is probably the most coveted piece of equipment. Good night. On the 891. Chuck is searching for birds. And other hams from Germany. And we have Cat and Brian. Okay, what's your name?
My name is Oliver.
Okay, Oliver. And what's your call sign?
My call sign is Delta Golf 4 David X-Ray.
Okay, that sounds like a German call sign.
From Deutschland, from Germany, of course, yeah.
Okay, what part of Germany are you from?
I came from the Munich area.
Okay, so Bavaria.
Bavaria and
Okay,
southern part,
nice.
yeah.
What is your favorite part about ham radio?
For me, it's always fascinating. You have so less equipment. Putting some wires in the tree, having a small transceiver, and you can communicate through the whole world without any internet in between or anything else.
Okay, excellent.
This is still, for me, the fascinating thing on it.
We've got lots of DC in and out. All right, it's about 11:30. We're starting to wind down. We're putting away stuff that's not needed.
A dipole antenna, FD4, for Windom.
Brian, what do you like most about ham radio and ARRL Field Day?
Well, at ARRL Field Day, I'm able to leverage my extensive knowledge of radio and RF communications to be able to support our mission of the LARC, which is the Longmont Amateur Radio Club, of which I'm a member of the board. And, you know, we can do all these activities.
So, Kat, what is your call sign?
W0UM.
What do you like most about ham radio? And
Being able to talk to people worldwide, I love it. It's for free once you buy the radio antenna and put it up. I enjoy the tree climbing to get my antennas up. And I love doing it with my husband, Brian, because it's a hobby we can do together. And I think more women should get in on it.
all right, these guys are taking down this Windom. I think we were using this on 20 meters very successfully. What do you like most about ham radio, dog? Right, the guys are taking apart the shed for the Predator. And we have a ramp to put it up into the van. And the tent is down, just like that. It is a folded dipole. And these guys are taking down the mast. first ed folded dipole.
And he's taught the company and basically.
And now if Russia invades, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Have we always done that?
All right. That's it.
And there you have it. So I thought that was well done, Ramon. I really, really enjoyed it. And back to the club.
Well, I think it'll be more successful if those of you that are here tonight will participate next year. And then maybe we can get something going for winter field day. But it's participation. Come out, operate for a couple of hours if that's all you want to do, and go home or stay and eat or whatever. It's a nice social event, and it'll get even better as we go. I promise you that.
All right. Thank you, Dick and Bob. Great job. Ramon, great job on the video, as always. Does anybody have any questions for Dick or Bob or myself or Ramon or anybody who was at the field day they'd like to bring up?
Well, I was there. I can tell you right now, if I would have known that we needed more laptops, I probably could have brought my laptop with me that day and we could have used that for logging, but I didn't know until it was too late. But next year, I will definitely bring my laptop. So we will have use of at least my laptop as an extra if we need to. I also have a thought to go along with the youth. There's a group in town known as Civil Air Patrol. There's a squadron that's up on Main Street. I think they meet I think it's either Monday night or Thursday night. It's a cadet squadron, so it's mostly youth between the ages of 12 and I'd say 18 or 19 years old. They have a public safety emergency services mission. And the last time I talked to their squadron commander, they did have some interesting communications. So getting them involved, not just in field day, but in the future with some of our events might be something the club might want to look into.
Give me a contact, David. Give me a contact.
Yeah, I will. I've got their squadron commander. If the squadron commander hasn't changed, I've got their squadron commander's name and number. I'll have to look that up for you, but if it hasn't changed, we can definitely reach out to him.
And that goes for anybody. If there's somebody that you want to get involved with the club or an event, or I've got a call right now up to Levi, who's the new manager for Vance Airport. So I'm trying to get with him to try to maybe do I'd like to do a real life fox hunt again, like we did late last year. We got called up. The Vance sent me an email and said, hey, we have a transponder, or we have a radio that's transmitting all the time. Stuck mic somewhere. It's on AM, of course, but we had a bunch of people that have AM capable radios, grabbed their radios and their antennas and went out and looked for this transmitting radio. Ended up being the guy had a radio in his hangar that basically had a frayed mic that was causing a short that was always on. So, that was a real life event where we were asked to help try to find. So I'm trying to get with him. He hasn't got back to me yet to try to do something like that, maybe help the airport out more, things like that. If you've got ideas or people, send them my way, or, say, hey, Chuck, let's go. We're going to go talk to so-and-so. Let's see what we can do to, help out and get them involved with either Ham or the club or whatever. Don't hesitate to do so. I mean, the worst they can tell us no. The best they can say is, hey, that's a great idea. Let's run with it, So, and maybe another opportunity for the club to show our what we can provide as a service, and also that we're here. We're not only here as a hobby, but we're here for the community and try to help where we can. So,
I didn't think of it until he just said that. And I don't even know if they're still there, because it's been 12 or 13 years since my son was involved. But there used to be a Young Marines group in Longmont also that meets over at the Moose Lodge. That's kids between the age of like 12 and 20 that's always doing stuff like that.
I think there still is, Chuck. I mean, if you have a contact, maybe you could look it up. Let's make it happen. Like I tell the board, it doesn't cost money. It's not immoral and not illegal. Go for it. And if it costs money, come talk to the board. So basically, it's open for everybody. And again, like I keep telling everybody, this is not my club, not the board's club, it's your club. So, whatever you want to put into it, let's go for it. And if you feel you're not sure, ask a board member, if this is good, if it's illegal, if it's immoral, whatever the case may be, we're more than happy to, that's what we're elected for, to keep us out of trouble. And that's all we're elected for. Otherwise, it's your club. Thank you, Brian.
But we appreciate the effort and energy that you put into it, Chuck. You're the glue that keeps it all together.
Crazy glue.
It works.
But no, I would thank you guys personally, because it was a lot of work. Like I said, a lot of good stuff. Chuck KE0PTI brought his chili, which was great. His box he showed off inspired me to go build my own battery box. I got one right now I'm working on down here. So, little things like that. And like I said, at the beginning of the year, so far, this is July already, so I've kept my promise. We've had at least one event that's club related at least once every month. And that was my goal for this year, is once a month, have something that's club related. And we've done as simple as a fox hunt. Brian and I are trying to put maybe a show and tell type thing together, hopefully maybe in August or September, maybe the second or fourth Saturday at the fairgrounds, since we have the Clover building, and do something out there. Maybe a get on the air station with that as well. We're just throwing some ideas out there. Or actually, we talked about doing a satellite class and kind of teaching what we learned 2 years, 3 years ago, whatever it was, when I got sunburned and taught ourselves satellite, because nobody in the club really knew a whole lot about it. So we went out, took some Yagis, and we started teaching ourselves. Little things like that just, try to keep the class together. Will, KE0PTI, I mentioned earlier that your class this weekend on Saturday. So, thank you for stepping up and doing that as well. Is this Saturday or next Saturday? A week from Saturday?
It is this Saturday.
Saturday. Thank you.
The 23rd, yes.
I did bring it up. So thank you for stepping up and doing a class like that with putting, wires and holes and things like that together. So that should be a lot of fun and very educational. And like I said, this is what I'm trying to keep going. But again, it can't be just one person all the time. And this is a village. So thank you everybody for helping out. And I appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions about field day for Dick or Bob? Or we're still planning a winter field day, right, Dick?
Yes.
That'll be in January. I'm going to start sitting down with Kim. We're going to start getting that going here soon. And if anybody's got ideas for that as well, winter field day is a little bit rougher here in Colorado because we don't know the weather. In January, we could either get 3 feet of snow, or it could be 65, 70 degrees outside like it was for summer field day. We just don't know. So we'll have to plan around that. And of course, we always cheated a little bit. We always had the Isaac Walton, so we were inside, but I don't know if that's going to be available or not. And that's the other thing I mentioned to Dick as well is, Doug has done great over the last years, getting Isaac Walton as our location for our field days. One of the things I would like to do over the next couple of field days, just to try it out, is, especially since they're working on the park over there now, is find different locations around the area and spread it around and try to, the Boulder County Fairgrounds was a great location. I'd like to have it there again one year. Potentially, I would love to see us maybe have some tents up if they let us do it, and do it in the middle of Roosevelt Park in downtown Longmont. That would be a cool experiment. So, we're thinking of different ideas and trying to come up with things. One of it is, can we get it? Two, will the city allow us to do it? Things like that. If somebody that's got an acre of land or a couple acres of land in Longmont that said, hey, you know what, come put you some tents out and have at it for the night. We could do that as well. I know Inkart usually goes up north somewhere and does their field, I think. RM Ham goes up in the freaking mountains with a bunch of people and do their field days. So, let's experiment and see what else we can look at. I did put the tent up because I was looking out for everybody, because we didn't know if it was going to be hot or not. So that tent actually belongs to the club now. So we can use it for other events as well. It's not a super heavy duty fireworks type tent, but it works for an overnight type event like we did. It worked out great. So, like I said, any ideas, suggestions, if there's something that needs to be done, I would ask that if you recommend it or suggest it, that you try to help with it if you can as well. Instead of just, say, hey, I got this idea, or, run with it. Just kind of jump in and help with it as well if you can. But and Dick is excited to take this over, and hopefully everybody will come up with some good ideas and suggestions, and also some cheap slave labor on occasions to help make everything happen. So.
Yeah, they don't happen without you, that's for sure.
It's everybody. Everybody chips in. So appreciate it. So, Will, did you want to say anything else about the event this weekend?
It's kind of an experiment. We haven't done this before, but I'm hoping people, will bring a variety of parts that they might want to build something with, or help somebody build something with. I encourage people to, bring an idea for a cable, and we'll have fair number of. I have lots of like wiring, and I have lots of stuff for like the mic jacks that use the 8-position RJ45s. I've built a couple of communications cables for the radios with those before. So, bring some ideas, and we will try to construct whatever you need, or help you with a design for what you need. And it'll be just a fun social event too. Now, if you want to bring your bring your battery box to show it off, to give people ideas, like if you have one, that'd be awesome too.
Are you going to put the time and date out on an email?
Actually,
yeah. So yeah, I can say it right now. But it's on the website. There is an article that has the detailed location information. It's happening this Saturday from 9:30 in the morning till around 12:30, just afternoon. Hopefully that'll be a good time frame for if people are going to the breakfast in Longmont, they could swing over after. It's kind of like just drop in anytime during that time frame. It's not going to be very highly structured, so there isn't like a start time that everybody needs to be there at 9:30 in the morning. I've got like a big space at my work that is basically a garage bay that we do prototype construction and stuff in, and that's where we'll be located. So it's at South Sherman Street, and the cross street is Iowa. So South Sherman in Iowa, and it's the building number is 950 South Sherman, and there's a parking lot entrance just off of Iowa. So you need to turn from South Sherman onto Iowa, and then immediately right behind the building that's on the south side of Iowa there. And then you'll see us in the back. Just look for the open garage bay.
Thank you, Will, and thank you again for hosting that and taking it on. I appreciate it. That's I know that's not easy doing something like that. So trying to get everything coordinated. So we appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, great. I hope to see some people there. Great.
Anybody got any more questions, comments, concerns, suggestions? Bring them up.
Hey, Chuck, I posted a link to the Vance Brand Cadet Squadron in the chat. I will find the actual commanders, and I think I still have his contact information in my email. I'll find that because it wasn't on the actual CAP website, but I'll find that and get that to you by email.
Okay.
That might have changed. That changes periodically because I have a change of command periodically, but that might have changed. But I'll give you the last information I have. But they do have an emergency services mission, so they may be interested.
Okay, we'll talk to them and see if we can get them involved.
Yep.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
And I saw Brian posted one for Young Marines as well, so we'll check that out and see if we can maybe get some of those groups involved.
Yeah, I do remember one other thing I wanted to say. Like, I will have my handheld and be tuned to the Longmont repeater, to the LARC repeater. So if anybody's planning to come over and they're getting lost or they need the final directions one more time, just call out on the repeater. We'll be listening.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate that.
Very good.
All right, anybody else got any more questions? Myself, anybody? Board members? I think Joe's talking on the phone or something, so. But. All right.
I'm sorry, did somebody call my name?
Yeah, you were talking, I thought maybe you were talking on the phone, that's why you were on mute, so I wasn't sure if you were trying to talk to us or.
Well, Mike, I'll send that to you, okay? All right. Okay, bye. What was I gonna say? What did somebody ask me something?
No, I was just, you were talking, I wasn't sure if you were trying to say something to us.
Oh,
as a
no.
group, or you were talking to me on the phone, and that's why I just mentioned your name, that's all.
I guess I did have one question though, if they're done. Unfortunately, surprisingly enough, I went to a CDC meeting on Wednesday, and on Friday, the CDC called me and says, guess what? We had a person who had COVID, so you're got to be in quarantine during field day. So I didn't get to go. Now, you would think the CDC might check these people before they show up. That's their job, but it didn't happen. But anyway, I'm wondering how your Wyndham antenna, that 20-meter Wyndham, really works.
Yeah, Bob, who was on that one? Most or anybody else?
I don't know who brought that.
I don't either.
That looked like a really nice antenna. I was just curious how well it worked.
I operated 20. I'm honest, I don't even know what antenna I was connected to, but if it was 20, it was probably that. It worked fine until about 1 a.m. The band just died and we didn't make another contact all night.
Oh, okay.
I think you were on G5RV. I think it was on Ed's G5RV because Random had a problem with coax. And then I think it was in the connector. They weren't able to figure it out, but it wouldn't work early. And we could have used the antenna that was up with the 40. There's a 20-meter there, but I guess SWR was pretty high on that. So we put up that G5RV quickly and that worked. But the Wyndham had some kind of problem, and I wasn't really aware of what it was. And I think initially they didn't know for sure, but it probably turned out to be a bad coax connector. And so, but I don't know who brought that. I thought maybe Ramon did, but maybe it's not his.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And we need to document that better next year. Put that as a note, Bob, for next year, is make sure if people bring stuff, we know who did what, so we can, if we have questions like this, we can, get to the right person. Because I know, Dick built the Moxon by hand for 6 meters, and he was proud of that thing. Because I heard him he was going, I'm getting this thing up for field day, and damn it, he was determined and he got it up there. So, things like that we can add little caveats and, after effects that says, hey, antenna provided by so-and-so, and then we can, get some performance information and stuff like that for like Joe, who was curious and things like that. So, but yeah, and that huge antenna was, we have, the club owns a spiderweb antenna, 4 bands, and we were going to put it up, but because we had all these other antennas, we decided not to. But in the past years, we have put that thing up, and it takes 6 or 7 people to put that thing up as well. And that's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. So, and I like what Bob and Dick said. This is an emergency type exercise for the most part. So next year maybe we'll have some smaller antennas, and then we can spend time putting a bigger one up down the road. The club does have a woofer recoil, which we didn't even put up. Part of that's because the mast was, or the telescopic whip was missing, but we got that replaced and taken care of. So things like that we could play with and see what works and what doesn't work, and experiment with different antennas. And that's the fun thing about field day. Maybe next year we'll have 5 radios, will be 8.5 and 5 different antennas. You never know. So.
Yeah, maybe next year if we have somebody who wants to work 80, we can go to class 5A.
Yeah.
And we then be there, and we'll still get the go-to station is a free station, and the UHF VHF station would be also a free transmitter. And I just saw an article in August QST, W6NBC, and another fellow have revised an antenna from a Japanese fellow for 6 meters. It's a vertical antenna, but it radiates horizontally. It's very interesting and looks like I can get maybe 8 dB of gain out of it. And so I've been thinking about, looks like I need to build another antenna for next year. We'll see.
You should get that article put in a splatter, Dick. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it's another one that all the measurements are pretty critical, and that is on the Moxon, and especially the spacing between the driven element and the reflector. And as poor as I am using a drill, I nail that thing and got it 2 3/4 inches exactly, and I was pretty tickled with myself there. But I ruined 5 sets of insulators there before I finally got one I could use. The drill kept slipping around, but I figured out how to stop that now. And it's unfortunate that it took me so long, but it fell apart on me the first time I put it together, and it took me 2 days of thinking about what happened, and it was just too much pressure on the wire caused the collapse. And then I found out why that I had the spacing wrong on the fiberglass. And once I got the fiberglass spacing and where you're supposed to drill it, man, it worked like a charm. And I was tickled to death with it for a short time. I'm going to put it up in my garage here and see what I can do with it in the garage since I'm an HOA. And we'll see. Yeah, I may bring 2 antennas. We can flip flop between the 2 of them.
That'll work. Did you have a question, Joe?
Yeah, I was wondering, you said UHF and VHF. I didn't think you could do that on field day.
You can do it. You can do it simplex. You just can't do it through a repeater.
Now you can use 2 meters sideband or for 6 meters.
6 meters, yes. But 2 meters too? I didn't know. I didn't think you could do 2 meters. Okay.
Well, you do 2 meters and 70 like satellites as well.
Chuck?
The satellite, you're only allowed 1 FM.
Right.
That's it. You get 100 points for it if you're successful. But otherwise, FM is off limits. It's not allowed.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I was getting confused for. Thank you for that.
Welcome. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, you think I'm not?
I think the social event for me was just a reminder of how much fun I had years and years ago before I even became a ham. I joined Empire Radio Club down in Arvada. They didn't have a repeater. They were just a big social club, and their big event for the whole year was field day. And field day with them, it's just a riot. We went up to Nevadaville, up above Central City and Blackhawk there, and there weren't any homes or anything up there at that time. And we went up there several years, and they ran a 200-foot long wire for 21 years. And we had a guy working out of a horse trailer that still had stuff left at the bottom of the horse trailer. It was awful, awful. We finally talked the operator to get out, so we tilted it up in and drained some of it off. It was awful, but it still was funny at the time. So, but once I got my ham license, and the guys were very gracious to let me operate without a license, and they were the control operators, and for many years I fixed breakfast, and I'd stayed overnight, or I went home and got stuff a couple of years and brought it back to the site and fixed breakfast. And some of the old timers, that one of them unfortunately now is a silent key, was 97 when he passed away last year. And he said one of his fondest memories were getting my omelets. He said they were ugly looking things sometimes, but he said, boy, they sure tasted good. So I thought about doing that this year, but with all the rest I had going on, I thought it was a little too ambitious. And I see Chris didn't get on here tonight, Chris Winnicky, and he really stepped up and cooked most of the food at the dinner. I was exhausted from being on my feet. And so Chris did that. He's been a ham 15 years. At field day, he made his first ever DX contact, and he'd only been on 2 meters once or twice in 15 years, but he's kept his license up. And now he's bought an HF rig. I found one for him online that's like mine, a TS590 SG, and had a marvelous price on it. And so I hooked Chris, and I think his name is Chuck too, and Chris bought the radio, and he has it. I'm going to go down to his house and help him with the antenna in the garage, and he's having XYL problems getting an antenna up. So I'll have to see if we can figure out a way to soften her up a little bit. And yeah, because he's in an area where he could have a tower of modest means at least, and hopefully we can convince her that, hey, it's not going to hurt your house value. It's not going to hurt your neighbor's value. And someday you'll sell your property, just take it down and do it. That's what I had to do with my 50-footer in Broomfield when I moved to Firestone. Well, I sure miss that too. But anyway, yeah, hopefully Chris will become active in Longmont Club, even though he's down in Wheat Ridge.
Yeah, right. We'll take people from anywhere.
Yep.
So, and like I said, he doesn't even have to join the club. Just come on and have fun with us. Yeah. All right. Anybody got anything else? Questions, comments, concerns, suggestions?
I got a comment, Chuck.
Sure, Chuck, go ahead.
I couldn't make it because I was doing something with Thornton Police, but I was mobile that day. And a first for me is I did a summits on the air with a guy on Torrey's Peak on 2 meter simplex. So he was going mountain to mountain. He did Gray's Peak and Torrey's Peak on the same day. He must be in good shape.
Yeah, better than me.
Yeah. And the other thing I've been doing lately is HF nets. I find that's a good way to make contacts without just spinning the dial and hoping you find somebody or calling CQ. You go on an HF net using NetLogger, and then you don't have to remember the calls either because they're all on the screen. But they are legitimate HF contacts.
Oh yeah, most definitely there.
So yeah, I go to one that's called OMS, and there's every night and on 40, 80 meters, there's maybe 100 people on. And so you call them and then they call you, and you can get 2 or 3 contacts a night.
That's a good point. I recommend when we do our classes, anybody that's going into HF to go to the old Miss Net, because when I was a beginner, I got on that thing, and they've been around for 100, 200 years or so. And they're really, really good, because if you screw up, they don't really bug you like a lot of these people would. So that's a good net. What is it, $3 for lifetime membership now?
Yeah, you donate $5, and then I donated $5 for NetLogger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a really good system. I need to get back on that. I totally forgot about that. That's really a good deal.
And 40 meters has been the best it's been since I've been doing this in the last couple of years. In the last 2 months, 40 meters is cooking all over.
Well,
That's it for me.
Meters on Monday nights, 0030 Zulu, 50.1, 60 megahertz. And there are some Mondays, on holiday Mondays, I'm not on at all. This coming Monday is my anniversary, and the wife and I are going to be going out. So I won't be doing a 6 meter net this week, but then I'll get back on a regular basis. But things like Labor Day, I won't be on. And I encourage you, if you have any interest in 6 at all, try to reach over. If you got a beam, you point it over here at Firestone. I sit just above the American Furniture Warehouse up on the hill. And I've been getting 20/9 reports into a guy in Fort Collins. And of course, he's kind of looking down on me. He's up at 7,000 some feet. But Ed has tried to get on, and a couple other guys, and and we're not hearing each other, and the band conditions have just been awful for 6 meters, but they're going to get better. And they're going to get better suddenly, and they should be good in future years for 5 or 6 years before they go to pot again. So join us. We're not in the EME kind of guys. That's front range 6 meter group, groups.io or io.group or whatever that is. And they're all of those guys are into the EME on 6. You got to have the antennas, the power, and everything else for that. So it's just regular 6, kind of rag chew net, check in and let us know your activities on 6 meters. So join us if you can.
Thank you, Dick. Cool. All right, nobody's got anything else. We'll call it a night. I do again appreciate everybody participating in the meeting this evening and giving your questions and comments and hearing a little bit about how much fun we had over field day weekend.
Board, and I've been supporting you guys a bunch of times.
Good. Well, we love to have your participation. And I still have a couple of minor things to work out with the Kiwanis fellow, and I've gotten most of the stuff from him, but then I've had a few questions and he couldn't answer them. And so I kind of have taken things in my own hands, and I should have an answer to my biggest question tomorrow. I've already attended one Rotary meeting, and it was the wrong Rotary. Fortunately, they knew who the right one was, and they meet tomorrow. And this other group meets Tuesday, and they meet every Tuesday, I guess, every Thursday. So I'm going to drive down and join their meeting and talk to them a little bit, and hopefully I'll get to speak early because I have a doctor's appointment I got to get down to Nevada tomorrow. But otherwise, the parade looks like it's pretty well set. We've got a few minor things to decide now. You're ready to go. Ooh, I'm getting an echo. That's different.
Yeah, somebody's got a microphone up close.
Yeah.
Ed,
Good evening, everyone.
Howdy.
Ed, I'll get you that radio eventually here another week or something.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck. Oh, that's not me. What? Can you hear me, Chuck?
Yep, I can hear you.
There's still an echo.
Yeah, there is. I guess you changed the Zoom login.
No.
It's different than the one I had.
Should be the
All
same.
right. I don't know why I'm getting an echo.
So I think
Everybody
everyone's
has.
getting an echo. Everyone that I hear has an echo on it. So it might be someone has a speaker on that
So
causing that.
it's best if everybody mutes. You know,
Well, it got better.
Zoom has got some really complicated software to handle 20 people making noise.
Tell me about it.
All right.
Well, things are good up here in Wyoming. Not quite as warm as you guys, because it usually isn't. But it's nice and warm.
So instead of roasting, you're just toasting, right?
Yeah, it's fine. As I said, Don disagrees with me, but I prefer heat way better than cold.
I was only 94 today, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was about 90 up here. It's not bad. About right.
Sure beats 103 in Fort Collins yesterday.
Yeah.
I have a question for whoever is running the net. Is you have control of muting everyone?
Yes.
And if you want to do that, you could do that. And then if you address this, then you'll probably eliminate a lot of that stuff. So control, I'd suggest that you take control of that.
Oh, we can do that right here. All right, everybody should be muted now. Except Jerry, who unmuted himself. That's fine.
Hello, I'm here.
Good to know. Trying to get my speakers changed around here. It's not working. Well, looks like Bob, you're gonna have a nice turnout for today's presentation.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be doing is this all Zoom and no one over at the meeting hall? Is that the way this is being done tonight?
For tonight, yes, it's all Zoom tonight.
Okay, thank you.
We're still looking at trying to get back in person. So Jerry, have you had anybody volunteer for your to run your net yet?
Not a soul. I keep mentioning it, but no takers.
Okay. Well, let me know if you get takers. I've got at least 2 people on the Hamlet net that I think one's at 4 and the other one's at 3, something like that, maybe. I don't know. So.
Hey, Jerry, the reason is you do such a good job.
I'm
Right.
sorry. I'm sorry.
We're not.
And people are tired of hearing me on the air, so.
Jerry, one night I'll do the net for you. I'll have to pick a night. I got a lot going on right now, but within a week or two, we'll run a net for you on a Thursday.
There you go, Jerry. Got a volunteer?
Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing. I couldn't get my phonic hearing aids connected to the output device tonight.
Oh,
Who was helping there?
that was Dick.
Jerry, I may give it a try a night or two. I'm still working on getting the stuff for BCARES taken care of, the IS 200 stuff, but so I am going to have to run a net at least once. So I might give it a shot a time or two in the future.
Okay, anytime, David.
I'll let you know.
Yep.
So yeah, we were talking about that last night, Jerry, at our directors meeting for R1D1. I guess you guys require, does BCARES require members to host the BCARES net at least once every so often, or host a net?
That's a good question. It's part of our MOU with BCARES that we need to have all of our volunteers run the net on a Monday night. Used to be that we enforce that quite a bit, but right now it's on a voluntary basis, and George keeps asking for volunteers, and frankly, George has been the most obvious net control all year long.
Okay. Well, we talked about that on ours last night with the directors with Joe, and we're talking about maybe doing something similar to get people to, run the net on Thursday nights for us as well. So starting with directors, which means I have to do that. Not a big deal.
It's good practice.
I have a comment.
You should do it.
I have a comment in reference to the assignments.
Yeah.
At Airlink, what we do is we send out a list to all of our members. We assign them. And then after they're on the list, most of them, 90% of them, all come in and they do the net on that list that's there. We've been doing that for many years, and it seems to work very well. And if someone has to not be around in that time, they swap. And I think that our system has worked out very well. And I think you guys should just take your people that are there, put that list together, give the assignment to them, and then if they decide they don't want to do it, then let them bow out, and then give it to, you have a good roster there. And I think just send it out to all of them and say, this is the whole year. This is when we're going to be doing it. We're going to assign you. If you don't like to do it, just bow out and put someone else in there. That's the way we do it with Airlink.
Okay. That's a good suggestion. How many people does BCARES have now, Jerry? Officially?
53.
Okay. R1D1's got, I think, officially 55. As of our last numbers from last night, so. That's good. It means you're growing a little bit, huh, Jerry?
Yeah, we've got we got about 14 people in what I call my recruiting list. People that have expressed interest. Some people on there have completed their training and just haven't finished getting their volunteer application into the Boulder County Sheriff. And then there's quite a number of people on that list that, just haven't really started their training yet. Life gets in the way of this stuff.
No kidding. Well, not in life, there's some of us that still have a regular 40-hour-a-week job. So, or let me rephrase that, 45 to 60-hour-a-week job.
Yeah, it's no fun. You guys up there are doing DMR, using DMR on your first Thursday every month, right?
Yeah.
I missed that this month.
I did too, so don't feel bad.
Went by and I missed it. I'm having trouble reading my calendar. I keep a lot of stuff on my calendar, but I forget to look at it.
The problem is I have overlapping stuff, and sometimes I have to flip a coin to figure out which one I'm going to do.
Yep.
So, especially now since I'm slow and going. So,
does anyone know where the plane went down in Left Hand Canyon this last few days ago?
no, I didn't hear about
Yeah,
that.
wasn't there a fire associated with it or something, or some sort
I
of,
can give you some information on that.
yeah.
Are you interested in what happened with that?
Yeah, I'm interested.
It was 3 miles from where we live. And it was a Cessna 377. It had 4 people on board, and it flew out of Jeffco and was coming up the canyon, and both engines died on it, and it crashed. Apparently it had quite a bit of fuel on it, and it started a fire. It was about an acre. And the problem that they ran into is the plane burnt. It was a very hot fire. So the FAA came up here, and after they got it all cooled down, they have identified who was on the plane. And So we still have some hot spots up here, and Left Hand and Gold Hill and Ward are coming up here, and they usually do a 24-hour check on it to make sure that they don't have any hot spots. And so
How
we
close-
monitored that and relayed that information on
Uh,
everything. in
How
case
close
that-
to Gold Hill? How close to Gold Hill was it?
It's about, I'll tell you this, at the 10-mile marker of Left Hand Canyon is where that plane crashed. And down about a mile from that is Lickskillet. And so they did put them on an evacuation warning, and then they removed it after they got it pretty much contained 90%. And then, so after they got it 90% contained, then they lifted all those warnings for them. And so it never came close to them. So
Was it on the south side of the canyon or north side?
it's on the south side. And apparently they tried to get into the canyon. They could not get into the canyon. They hit the trees. And it is a sad situation. So we followed all of that from the time it happened until they had said it's pretty much clear. So FAA came up here yesterday and they looked at the plane. They got the N number for it, and they know exactly where the plane was leaving. The sad part of that is the company that was running that Bluebird, they had a plane that was needed to have certification. They did not do the certification. So they were flying the plane without certification. So it's a sad story. So I'll just let it go for that. Thank you.
Okay, so it was just west of Lickskillet Road then?
Yes, it was. It's about a mile west of them.
Okay, halfway up the hill?
No, it's right on the canyon, right in the canyon.
Oh, down at the bottom, close to the
Yeah,
river?
and yeah, it was in the canyon, hit the trees, and the fires just basically, the winds were moving west. So it moved all the fire to the west of us. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Well, I've flown a 377. I was just kind of curious about it.
Good to know. Thank you for the information. All right, we'll give it another couple minutes, get some more people on here. You got everybody documented, Pat? Call signs and stuff? Another Steve that joined us. Evening, Steve. 3 Steves on.
Hey Chuck, how's your back?
Hurts like hell.
Yeah.
But
I'd
going for a
like you
shot
to-
on
could
August
you,
1st.
Acknowledge Ramon. Ramon's on here. Could you acknowledge him?
Who's that?
Ramon.
Yeah, Ramon. I saw Ramon.
Howdy.
Ramon's gonna be part of our presenters this evening, so. Because that's what I was told, right?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Take it up with Dick. That's what he told me. So you should be a co-host, and so should Bob. I think Dick, you're a co-host as well. So
I think they're gonna plan on running whatever my thing is.
last.
It's gonna put everybody to sleep.
Oh, come on, dude! You got high praises from Netherlands. Those guys up there really enjoyed it, and they appreciate the help too on the race.
Yeah. Well, I had the best post up at the top.
Charlie and those guys run a good club up there, so.
Yeah.
That the
You
borough,
just do what?
that the borough race?
No, that was the what was that,
Gravel,
the
Ned gravel race, yeah.
Ned gravel race. The borough races aren't until later this month or early August, I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, Chuck, but we're close enough. The Sharon is still looking for some help on that. The one from Fair Play is July 30th, and August 7th, I believe, is Sunday from Leadville. So assignments haven't come out. I did get an email from Sharon from where I'm going to be up there, but she's asking for any more help. I know you sent out the email with her contact information, so it's a fun time if anybody is interested.
And what I'll try to do is I'll send another one out, and it probably should be in the splatter that went out today as well. I did a event page for the splatter for other clubs and other organizations that's looking for our help. So I know Netherlands got another race coming up. Let's see what else. Borough races. So there's a couple of things that I put in there. So hopefully we're going to keep that populated. And when people are looking for help with other clubs or organizations, I'm definitely going to let everybody in the club know, because I think that's a good opportunity for you to go out and do a little community support if you can and help out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun race. So looks like I get to go do some work on a repeater site in between the boroughs.
That's
so,
cool.
Got to finish another solar project.
All right. I got a couple of board members on the meeting this evening, so that's great. We got Jason. Here comes Joe. Wow, my buddy Joe's joining. Mike. We were just talking about Aries earlier, Joe.
I'm here.
Jason, welcome.
Howdy.
All right, I got 7 o'clock, so we'll get started.